Right, we are talking about menopause, metamorphosis, and vibrational alignment. So, who's gonna come to the talk? Alrighty, let's get that going. Hello, hello, John. We're talking about James. Hello. We are talking about menopause today. So, if you have a woman in your life you'd like to share this information with, feel free to stay. But if you are not interested in menopause, that's what we're talking about right at this one. Hi, Jen. Hi, Special K. Sean. Hello, hello. Um, hello, hello. We're talking about menopause metamorphosis or a menopause reset. There's lots of areas that don't get talked about in menopause lately. And you know what's exciting is I'm seeing a trend with a lot of menopause niched coaches that we're really starting to look at this holistically. But I wanted to come on here, especially for Melissa and her wife, to talk about menopause challenges. So let me know some of the challenges that you might be having with perimenopause and menopause. I'm going to go over, good afternoon, hi. So I'm happy to do this live in between things. I had some appointments in the morning and I have to do a gig, a show in this afternoon. So this is going to be 1 hour of just some good learning about menopause and vibrational wellness. So what I want to talk about is there's three components that I like to look at. And then with those three components, I look at what I call it's not what I call, it's actually the five, I call them the five pillars, and in yoga therapy it's called the five koshas. And so the three things that make the perfect storm for our menopause metamorphosis is our one, as we know, the hormones, right? But two is the aging paradigm, the negative aging paradigm, when our hormones start shifting and we start feeling the first time effects of perhaps aging. And we're like, oh, wow, my weight's changing, my skin's changing, I'm feeling unmotivated, I feel depressed about living, I feel like I'm outgrowing my life. The things that used to be fun for me aren't anymore. And I feel like so there's this whole negative aging paradigm, and how am I being seen by the collective? Am I, turning heads anymore? Like I don't get that kind of attention anymore. Perhaps you're starting to feel insignificant, right? So there's this negative aging paradigm that is really important to look at. And then number three, what a lot of people do not talk about, I need to get this on the mirror. Let me see if I can get this on mirror because you guys can't see this. Let me see. Mirror your video. Okay, I did that. But it doesn't look like that. Okay, maybe I don't want mirror. The third thing is, and I just learned that this has a astrological reason for this. It's our midlife spiritual awakening. Now, it doesn't mean that it's your first awakening. It means that whatever's happened in the first half of your life spiritually, there's an awakening that happens here. And the reason that is because between 48 and 52, there is something called your Chiron return. And when Chiron returns, you have this huge awakening and looking back at your past and looking at patterns. And that's what awakening is resolving some of our trauma and our past and coming more awake to the present moment. So that is called your awakening consciousness. Now, as a wellness practitioner and a vibrational coach, what I do is we look at these three things from a holistic lens. We look at them from all five koshas. We look at them in the physical reality. We look at them from the energetic reality. We look at them from the mental emotional reality. We look at them from the witness reality. And we look at them from our spiritual reality. And so I really, really think it's very crucial to go through perimenopause and menopause, looking at these three things and the five koshas with each one of these. Like, why? Why are you having negative thoughts around aging? You know, what's going on that your hormones are so imbalanced that you can't sleep and you feel awful and you have no energy and you have to take naps. You're gaining weight. The hot flashes are above and beyond. You can't focus, right? And then the awakening, a lot of times the awakening of consciousness that comes with this Chiron return looks a lot alike hormones and being imbalanced. Ascension symptoms look a lot like hormone imbalance. So when you talk to someone like a doctor or even a guy or a woman that's been through it already and she's only knows this one paradigm, they'll be like, "Oh honey, it's just your hormones, you're going through the change. How old are you?" Haha, wink wink. I fucking hate that shit. I remember going through that too. Instead, and I am post-menopause now 3 years. I've been through the perimenopause, I've been through the menopause, and I would never say this to anyone. I would first ask, well, what are you experiencing? And then when you can say that, well, it does sound like your hormones are starting to shift and change, but it sounds like you're also going through an awakening. And it also sounds like you're really facing what aging is for you. And that's softer, and that makes you feel like there's other components that are in your control rather than just your hormones going off the rail again. And there's ways you can really start to come to a beautiful allowance of these hormones doing their thing. When you feel like your hormones are starting to get in balance, that is the cue to get yourself in a lifestyle of pure self-care, because your body has to do so much adjusting. What they don't tell us about hormones is that hormones affect our brain. They affect our teeth. They affect our bones. They affect our heart health. They affect our circulatory system. And so it's really important to get into a lifestyle that's all about self-care so that your adrenals can be healthy, your thyroid can be healthy, right? Your liver can be healthy. All these organs and glands have to work systemically together to give you a balanced ride through menopause. And so yeah, any questions? Can keep rambling here. So when you look at it holistically and from a vibrational level, when we come into perimenopause and we're not taking care of ourselves, why aren't we? Why are we in a lifestyle that is burning the candle at both ends, right? Why are we feeling anxious when we are alone? Why do we self-medicate with wine? Why do we spend time with girlfriends who aren't making us feel good anymore about ourselves? Then we want to go spiral down into what is the vibrational root of these choices that we keep making of ourselves, for ourselves, that aren't serving us anymore. And the hard part about that is socially in perimenopause, we can start feeling like we're growing out of our life. This life that we have manifested and actualized and we thought was the perfect life for us. Right? We thought it was the perfect life for us. And now we feel like we've outgrown it. Now we feel like the friends we have, we don't really want to spend time with anymore. They don't get us and we don't get them. And we don't want to do the same certain activities they think are fun and we don't anymore. And it can be a lonely place, but it's a time to really get to know yourself in your awakening. And when you start to really know how to bring your spiritual essence through the whole of yourself, time alone is well spent. Time alone doesn't equal loneliness anymore. And so outgrowing your life doesn't become scary anymore. It becomes exciting and seeing what's next. And so a lot of times also in the negative aging paradigm section, where are we at with our life's purpose? Perhaps we feel that changing. Perhaps we never felt like we were really living our life's purpose, and now we're crying because we're like, I've spent so many years just doing this dumb job and I don't feel fulfilled and I can't do it anymore, but how am I going to pay the bills? That comes up a lot for midlife women. And so when we look at menopause, and when I hear someone say, oh my gosh, I'm having such a hard time with menopause, it's not just about balancing the hormones. That's the physical effect. And in yoga science and yoga therapy, the physical problem is the last red flag. It's all the other stuff, the belief systems, the paradigms, the chakras, the nadis, the spiritual connection that has been challenged for this physical hardship to just be bursting, right? So when I work with people, we balance all these three areas and we balance them holistically in the 5 koshas. And we do it vibrationally through reprogramming thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And we do a lot of it through voice work, and we do it a lot of it through sound healing. And so I take on 4 people a month through my midlife reset program. It's a 10-week program where there's a 50-page Google Doc, training doc. There's 15 videos, training videos, and there's a Zoom every Wednesday where we meet and we talk about what happened in the laboratory of life with our hormones, with our aging well paradigm, and with our awakening journey. A lot of people numb out the awakening journey with wine. Okay, so if I would tell you to stop one lifestyle thing in midlife, I would say stop alcohol. I know that sounds kind of radical to some people, but the alcohol is messing up your liver and your adrenals, putting you into adrenal health, and it's masking some of the sensations and thoughts. It's numbing you out. Alcohol numbs the nervous system. So it's numbing out your guidance system. And it's taxing your body, the adrenals and the liver that actually help you balance your hormones through menopause. So if I was going to say one thing, and so how do you get off of alcohol? That's hard if you're really used to medicating with it. And that's why you need support. You need some extra support. Whether that's going to be AA or whether that's going to be my midlife reset program or that's going to be some other kind of program, it is very challenging to get off of alcohol, even if you're not an alcoholic or don't have a problem with alcohol. But if you have used it to medicate and numb yourself out for years, there's a reason for you using that. And that's what you have to get to the bottom of. Hey, Melissa, I've said a lot in 15 minutes, but I will take this recording and I will put it over on my YouTube channel. So guys, I have a prolific YouTube channel. There's over 900 videos on there. And so a lot of times I take these lives and I download them and put them on there. So Melissa, I will do that. And what is your wife's name? Melissa and so what we're talking about is the holistic approach to menopause, having a hard time with this menopause shift. So, Blythe, okay, hi Blythe, thank you for being here. What I'm curious about, because I've just talked about the 3 areas that really need to be looked at with menopause, and a lot of people just say, oh, just balance the hormones and throw you out the door and say you're good. No, 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 nay, nay, nay. I really believe it has to be a holistic approach. I've been a wellness practitioner since my 20s, and I always look, and now I've studied yoga therapy, which talks about a holistic model called the 5 koshas. We need to look at this from a holistic viewpoint. So when you say you're having challenges with menopause, what challenges are those? Because that'll help us pinpoint. And I just went into the whole explanation of it, so you can watch the replay on that. But maybe I can bring this into your situation. So if you wouldn't mind sharing, what is some of your biggest challenges with menopause? And so when we say menopause, it gets confusing because it's 10 years it's 2 to 10 years of perimenopause, of things, the wobble. And then you have the climax of perimenopause, which is kind of menopause. It's the climax of it all. And then you lose your menses, and and then for a year without your menses, you are in menopause, and then after that year, then you go into post-menopause. Okay, so foggy memory. Yes, that is a tough one. Yeah, the estrogen is going down, and the foggy memory can be tough. So I just explained this phases. Are we in perimenopause? Are we in climax of perimenopause to menopause? Or are you in postmenopause? So what's happening is the estrogen's kind of being stripped from their receptors in the brain. And your body has to readjust with what is this happening here? How to handle what it's losing. So it's in perimenopause. Okay. So with that kind of thing, you might want to take a look at, now I am not an herbalist, but you might want to take a look at things that have worked for me that I can say, oh, maybe, suggest this. Something that worked for me is there is black cohosh, right? There's Vitex, okay? And there's maca, okay? So there's maca, Vitex, and black cohosh. So look up those 3 things, those herbal remedies, okay? The only thing that I would watch out for is too many combinations. Supplements with a lot of combinations of stuff, it's a higher rate of it not working because synergistically we don't know how all those supplements work together, and we don't know how they work in your body together. And there might be one element that your body does not like. So I tend to use supplements that are just 1 or 2 things, so that then I can pinpoint what's working, what's not, pull something out, put something back in. So maca has been wonderful for perimenopause, and Vitex and black cohosh. Now I also like to work with frequencies. So if we look at the bio voice work for memory stuff, so the memory stuff is really, really common with perimenopause, and it does get better after you come out of menopause, but it's still a little challenged. But what I've noticed is that when I went through perimenopause, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be a Fruit Loop for the rest of my life. I cannot believe this. How am I going to function? And your body is a miracle. Your body knows how to adjust. Now, some people go on hormones or bioidentical hormones. I personally don't think that's a good idea. And because of some of the stuff that's happened with your heart health around estrogen hormones. But There's things that you can take for the brain like ginkgo and lion's mane. Okay, ginkgo and lion's manes are really good supplements that you could look into and ask about and ask Google about. But the best way to deal with this dropping estrogen is to keep yourself really healthy, body, mind, and spirit, and look at all of this with curiosity. What is this? Body, do we got this? Where do you need support? Right? And keep, a good rule of thumb too is keep in the flow. Keep everything in the flow. Meaning keep your lymph flowing, keep your circulation flowing, keep your thoughts flowing. Don't lock down on anything. Keep everything flowing. Keep the liver flowing. Right? So lots of water, making sure you are hydrated is super important. Making sure you're eating clean to keep that flow in the liver. Making sure the hydration will also keep your blood flowing, right? Movement, moving your body, and shaking. Shaking will help you move your lymph. Lymph is really important because if you don't move your lymph, the stuff that's clogged up in the lymph goes into the bloodstream and its toxicity. It goes into the bloodstream, goes into the liver, starts clogging up the liver and the kidneys and things like that. So it's super important to stay systemically healthy as you can during this transition, this huge transition that your body is making. But the voice bio work is kind of like a supplement in itself. So the theory here is, let me just say one more thing. The other reason I don't agree with hormones is that they don't allow your body to tap into its own wisdom and do what it needs to do to adjust to this loss of estrogen. It's a normal thing to have this loss of estrogen. And when you go on estrogen and you block the communications between your body and this adjustment period, it's harder. So there's a woman we know that went right on bioidenticals, and then she got to her 60s and had breast cancer because hormones, extra hormones like that, that's one of the risks. She got breast cancer. She had to go off the hormones, and she catapulted so fast into postmenopause that the body didn't have time to adjust in any way, and she just like lost estrogen like that, and it was very, very difficult. This perimenopause time is supposed to be a time of easeful up and down and your body adjusting. When you add hormones in there, it doesn't have the capacity to do that. So I'm a big proponent of really letting the body's wisdom do its thing and supporting it with gentle support, holistic support. All right, so voice bio work are frequencies that you can listen to each day to as a supplement, right? So what's it called? Sound pharmacy or frequency pharmacy. It's on Google. You can buy a frequency and just listen to it 5 minutes twice a day, and that puts that frequency back in your thing. And I always thought of this like, doesn't estrogen have a frequency? Can we put a little bit of that frequency in? So, and that's true here. So, for example, the note C should be in your voice. And if it's not, if the C is low, like the note of C, that frequency, it's going to be affecting the thyroid, the lymph circulation, the small intestines, the fallopian tubes, and large muscles. Possible symptoms of low C are depression, fatigue, fibroid tumors, gas pains and bloating, heart palpitations, menstrual cycle irregularity, metabolism imbalances, postpartum after birth. So weight problems and female hair loss. So just without the frequency of that C note, you could start having these kind of symptoms. When the note of C is low in the person's frequency, a person can feel codependent and caretake others. Their balance and harmony is important, and they need to make everyone happy. So they're the people pleasers when the C is low. So here's some simple things without even listening to C that you could do. To build C, look at red, the color red, the frequency of red, and wear green. You could also have an emerald, wear an emerald or jade. Essential oils that are good for bringing C up are lemongrass, citrus, lime, juniper, pine, and cedar. Okay, so C is a very good one for the menstrual cycle irregularities that happen at perimenopause. A is another good one. So I love like treating things with frequencies because, you can. So A is real important for menopause and perimenopause and menstrual pregnancy problems. It says here, when A is low, it affects the bladder, the lungs, the bronchial tubes, the uterus, the ovaries, the testes, and the knees. So when this is low, you have a need to nurture yourself. Breathe and learn to relax. When A is low, you worry a lot and you're not being good enough. When A is low, there's a tendency to want to do to others before it is done to you. So A and C, I would say, are really good ones for this perimenopause state. And if for A, you can look at indigo and wear lemon yellow. Also, you can wear lemon quartz or citrine. And spruce and balsam and clove and tea tree oil are really good essential oils. Yeah. Or you can get your little keyboard and you can, like this. The thing is with a holistic way to go through perimenopause is you have to be consistent with your lifestyle. You have to be consistent with frequencies, consistent with your supplements, consistent with your sleep, consistent with your exercise. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. And a lot of people don't want to really take a look at their lives. As I said earlier, number 3, there's an awakening consciousness that's happening in midlife women from 48 to 52. And the reason is that because astrologically, your Chiron is doing this return, right? We've heard a lot about our, what was that called? Our Saturn return, right? This is your Chiron return in midlife. And this is a time to really look deeper into your programming and your past and heal it. So this awakening consciousness during this menopause shift is really important. And just balancing hormones is missing the mark on this huge opportunity that you have to change your aging paradigm, change your past programming, and awaken your consciousness. So how can we balance those hormones? And we do that through systemically supporting the body, doing a whole lifestyle reboot, and coming into your subconscious to see what needs to be kicked out of there and what needs to be filled in there. So another thing I like to do is just chant in this tone. So if you get a little keyboard and we just chant on the tone of A, right? Because that'll balance the menopause, perimenopause challenges stuff. So you just get on A. There's A. You guys hear that? So if you did some vocal toning in the key of A, you could possibly shift some of this memory stuff and possibly balance the hormones a little bit. Balance your cycle, balance. So this is what I talk a lot about when I work with women in my midlife reset program, my 10-week program. We go through all of this stuff. But anyway, I am bantering a lot. Is there any questions? Am I answering that question that you had? Thanks for the likes. Thank you. So I hope I gave you something to kind of, work with and be with. Yeah. Let me hear from somebody. Am I making the mark here? Oh, right. Maybe someone's driving. We can't. Okay. So this is the way I look at perimenopause, and this is the way I would run someone through a whole reset at perimenopause, so that they can go through menopause and postmenopause feeling enlivened, feeling good about themselves, feeling like they're a cocoon in this chrysalis, and they're going to come out in past menopause knowing in their soul what they're here to do next, stepping into spiritual leadership, being okay about aging well because they've lived this reset to come into their truest purpose in the second half of their life. That's how we find peace with getting older and sharing our wisdom. That's all up. It's not just a memory problem, right? All of the symptoms have a holistic thing that's going on mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I appreciate the tones. I'm going to start using those as well as herbs and essential oils. Good, 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 good. Yes, 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 yes. And so when you use the tones and use the herbs and the essential oils, get consistent with them. And I think it was you too that said, like, set your alarm. Set your alarm to take the supplements. Set your alarm to do your tones. My sister's, like, I have a family member who's going through some stuff too. And I was just like, we really have to know, like, that when we go the natural way, that we have to stay consistent with it. And I feel like that's when most people say, oh, well, I tried tea tree oil, it didn't work. And I'm like, well, did you try it every day? Oh, I tried toning, it didn't work. It's like, did you do it every day? It's consistency, it's repetition, and it's immersion with these tools and these lifestyle shifts that make all the difference. And for the people that don't want to make the lifestyle shifts, that don't want to be consistent and repeat and immerse themselves in this awakening, they're the people that ignore their body symptoms and get on the hormones and just and there's nothing wrong with hormones. Some people need them. Some people in their situations really need them. But what I'm seeing across the board is that doctors do not know about the holistic approach, and they're just putting women on hormones during perimenopause, which your hormones are so up and down. Putting more estrogen into the system does not help, because the estrogen's up and it's down and it's up and it's down. So when it's up and your body's getting more estrogen, you are going to feel awful. You're going to have that estrogen dominance symptoms. So perimenopause, in my knowing, is not a time to go on hormones. Now, maybe in post, and you're realizing that your estrogen has dropped so much that your bones and your teeth, like some women go on testosterone to produce the estrogen, so that their bone health and their heart health and their teeth and things that are being affected by low estrogen. And some doctors may say, like, well, let's just get you on it right now and then you'll just cut it at the chase. No, let your body's wisdom have a chance with this. Let your body make these adjustments. Be willing to love yourself enough to come into a lifestyle that your body is asking for. And it might mean letting go of happy hour and the wine. I do a sound healing bath on Friday, third Friday nights, and I've done it specifically at happy hour. And my one friend was saying who likes to go to happy hours and she doesn't come to them anymore and we're really not friends anymore. And she's like, well, why are you doing it during happy hour? I really want to go out and get a drink with my husband. I was like, because I don't drink. And I feel like when you are in this like awakening consciousness and your hormones are all up and down, people people need to stop using alcohol. And when you don't know, when you stop drinking, like, where do you go? You go to a sound bath for happy hour instead of going and drinking with people. So alcohol's not bad once in a while, but for the perimenopause body, it numbs the body out. It creates adrenal fatigue. It's not good for the nervous system. It's poison. It's poison for the body. So right before I started perimenopause, I got the hit to just stop drinking. And I just stopped. I've stopped drinking. I've just been sober for 7 years. And once in a blue moon, I'll do a shot of tequila for a celebration. But other than that, I've never drank since 7 years ago when my body was like, I don't want it anymore. So you have to come to that moment in yourself. Is the wine or the cocktails worth it? Is your body asking you to be clean and sober? And is it asking you to come into balance in a different lifestyle? And would you be willing to do that? So a lot of women come into midlife feeling like they're outgrowing their lives. Their lives don't fit them anymore. But they're scared because it makes them feel maybe like, well, I don't like going out dancing with the girls. Wow, like going to happy hours doesn't feel good anymore. Sometimes it can make you feel like you're getting older and old. And it's just like, maybe think of it this way. Let's see, aging, or what is it called? Youth is wasted on the young. Youth is wasted on the young. The older I get, the more free and giddy and innocent, and the more I feel like a child, like in a really good way. Youth is wasted on the young. I feel more youthful now in my 50s than I ever did as a kid and a teenager in my 20s. I was such an intense and serious person back then. Yet here I am with spotty skin and, the skin doing its thing and like my teeth doing some weird stuff. I've got age spots, and yet I feel more youthful than I ever have. But I've changed my lifestyle to do that. I make vibrational alignment a priority because everything's vibration. Where are you consciously aligning with, right? Where are you consciously aligning with? To the neighbors? To the TV? To the banter between your kids? To the electricity in your house? Like what are you consciously vibrating with? There's something called forced or dominant resonance. And whatever is the strongest, most consistent frequency, that's where you will attune to. What I like to think about and what I like to teach people is how to become the dominant resonance in their life. So they're the most consistent frequency, and if someone comes into their field, they get entrained to you and not you to them. And all of that has to do with lifestyle and your choices around your body, your paradigm of aging, and your awakening consciousness and how you handle that. These things are not easy things to handle. The collective is handling them one way. And what's cool is that there's some changes happening in how people look at menopause. So yay. But find support if you're having some challenges, but find support that's holistic. We don't want to just tag memory issues. That's just like a symptom of a bigger well that needs to be looked at, right? And, you know, the drop in estrogen can create memory issues, but they're not going to last forever. But it's not going to go back to exactly the same because you are a different person. When you come out of menopause, you are a different person. And it's amazing. You become your queen self. You become this spiritual leader, this creatrix. So you no longer are focused on kids and a certain work in a certain way. You are basically tending to the consciousness of the world as you step into menopause. And it's amazing. And you're of service and it's beautiful. So when what I help women find out is just like, what is their soul calling them to do? How are they going to step into service? And it's different for every woman. So I have just babbled a lot in 42 minutes. Any questions? Any questions? Was this helpful? This is my QR code. It's where my bio link over there. I have lots of different offerings. Right now I have a spring special if you're curious to talk to me one-on-one about this stuff. It's called Spring 44 Special. It's over on my bio link. It's $44 to spend a one-on-one half hour with me. And that's just for spring. Usually I work in an hour segments, or I work in month segments, or I work in 10-week segments. So you are so welcome. I'm glad you feel validated, because that's the thing. Sometimes we feel like, am I losing my mind? What is happening? What do? I am a sound therapist and a vibrational wellness coach. So I do sound baths and I do voice energy healing. I channel frequencies through my voice, but I also help women do a reset at menopause, helping them balance their hormones, helping them with the aging paradigm, and I help them with their awakening consciousness. And I do that through a 10-week program. So yeah, that's what I do. So this someone had asked me in a live to do a live just specifically on menopause. So here I am. And yeah. I also do free like 15-minute discovery calls, 20-minute discovery calls. So if you are like, I'm kind of curious about how this work would help my perimenopause journey, that's free. So come on, talk to me, and I'll see if I can be of service to you. And I can talk to you about the different programs and which one might be a match for you. While I'm not an herbalist, I do have training in nutritional counseling. I have training in yoga therapy. I am a certified twice over Holy Fire Reiki master. I have a degree in wellness education. And I have an advanced certification in sound therapy. So I combine those worlds and my own experience with sound and awakening and my own experience with menopause to help the ladies. And as we help the ladies, we help the families and we help the marriages, because there's a lot that happens at menopause and marriage, right? And we either learn to grow together or it's time to go apart. And I'm telling you, like when I was going through perimenopause and my son was going through his hardest teen years, oh my God, it was hard. It was hard. So it really does, when you do the work to reprogram and reset in perimenopause, it helps your whole family. And you start seeing things from a vibrational cause and root and program rather than from just a physical or even a mental perspective. Yeah. Hi, Stacy. So I have about 15 more minutes before I have to get to a show. I just got called into work. The memory care down the way had a cancellation. So I do music for healthcare, memory care. So you're welcome, Melissa. So yeah, I will. I hopefully this one will be able to download, and the ones that do download, I do share on my YouTube channel. So check out the YouTube channel. There's a 900 free videos there for you guys, from conscious life hacks to yoga nidras to sound baths to midlife awakening info. So thanks for tuning in, Melissa, and thank you, Blythe, for tuning in. All right, guys. So how can I wrap this up? Let's do a little sounding, okay? In the key of A, right? We'll do it in the key of A because A is that that note that's low in our voice and our frequency when we're going through perimenopause. So let's do that. And you can find my spring special and all my other offerings and a free download, sound bath download over on my bio link. And yeah, and Venmo's over there too if you feel so obliged to. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. So this is the C and the A. That was fun. As soon as I came to the resolve, it was like cha-ching. you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the roses. Thank you, thank you. So, I never know what's going to come out. So that was a little message from the Great Mother. So Great Mother is calling you. Will you listen? Menopause is a magnificent metamorphosis. I hope you treat yourself well through it. Find holistic support. Find someone that really looks at the whole picture of you. Body, energy, emotions, beliefs, intuition, and spirit. So find someone that's versed in all of that. Or join my midlife reset program because we go through all of that. All right. Sign up for a free discovery call if you want to learn more about that. All right, beautiful beings, off I go. I got to go sing to the seniors. Bye-bye.